Welcome to the Forensic Financialist, where we simplify business and leadership challenges and choose the road that leads to wisdom and excellence. We discuss tough issues facing business and figure out easy-to-implement solutions. Using the rear-view mirror approach, we look in the rear view to move towards a brighter future. Here's your host, Jeff Newkirk.
Welcome to the Forensic Financialist, where we aim to improve your business and build strong leaders by presenting understandable solutions. I'm your host, Jeff Newkirk. Friends, today we have an incredibly special guest. Mr. Andrew Treutle, a very well-known, accomplished accountant, has experienced a challenge in his life that he wants to share with us today. And we are so privileged and grateful that he's taking the time to meet with us. So just a little background on Andrew Treutle. He was born in Dallas, Texas, lived in North Carolina, Virginia, California, so he's been around the country a bit. Graduated from Texas A&M, Aggie.
Yeah.
Is married to his wife and has 4 kids.
4 kids.
They live
4 wonderful kids.
4 wonderful kids and twins.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 oldest are twins.
Very good. And worked for several years for Arthur Andersen.
Yep.
And then transitioned to another company before landing at another firm called Alvarez and Marsal, where he spent a considerable amount of time, 12 years, 12 years, 10 years?
Something
or so?
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, something.
And was very accomplished in this field in accounting.
Yeah.
And has a degree in finance as well. So it's a very strong financial management background. So from there, he traveled the world, worked around the world. He's been to Chicago, Honolulu, New York City, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Dubai, London, Paris, Singapore. Well, that is a world traveler. Loves the outdoors, enjoys water skiing, surfing. Surfing, wow.
Back when, not now, but when I was younger.
Very good. And biking. Was very accomplished bicyclist.
Yeah,
trained.
I truly loved it. I mean, I loved getting out there and pushing myself.
Yeah,
good, nice.
Good. And trained for and participated in mini triathlons and lost 60 to 70 pounds.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That is a big deal. And you wanted to be a fit dad, which I can completely relate to.
Because, that's the tough thing. You go through and you work so long, so many hours.
Right.
And you do have a tendency to not be physically fit.
Not be in good shape. Yes, I completely understand, Andrew.
We all envision ourselves as being a fit person. Unfortunately, life doesn't necessarily work that way.
It does not. It does not. Well, this extremely accomplished professional with a wonderful family had a very traumatic situation occur in 2014. On a bicycle ride, training for a mini triathlon, he collided with a truck and suffered extensive injuries, including a traumatic brain injury, otherwise referred to as a TBI. His life changed forever. His career was gone. He now can't walk very well. He's deaf in one ear. His vision is misaligned. And he can't speak well. Well, I would say you speak very well, but
I'm getting there.
Understanding and relating to others is gone. He has permanent brain damage. He doesn't like attention. He's now more introverted and constantly looking for meaning and purpose. I am no longer, or as he says, he is no longer relevant to any business, which I would disagree with, but I understand what you're saying. Despite the adversity, he says he's luckier than anyone will ever know. And friends, that's where the inspiration really is incredible. He says he's luckier than anyone will ever know. I get to live a life, as he says, that no one will ever understand, even as I try to tell them. That is so profound, Andrew. He is relevant. He's relevant in a different way, and he has beat the odds. Friends, we have Andrew Treutle here today to tell us his story, and it is so great to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time to
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, to speak with us about not just your career, but now what you're experiencing and what you want to do with your life going forward. But tell us just a little bit about your career and how accomplished you were as an auditor, accountant, consultant. So just give us a little bit of background.
Okay, so I originally started at Arthur Andersen as an audit. That's when I first got my experience with business and with relationships, because they were everything to me. Relationships were everything to me.
So you learned early on, even in auditing,
yes,
that relationships are the key, or is the key to success.
They've consistently been a key to my success throughout my entire career, and actually throughout my entire life. I mean, when I was in high school, I was a peer counselor in high school. In college, I was a peer counselor in college. I got my internship. My first internship was in healthcare, healthcare administration, because I could actually use my business background and help people. Again, focus completely on relationships. When I first got to Arthur Andersen, the way they got to Arthur Andersen was my network, relationships.
So and
that was who I knew. And I went. Here's the thing. I heard no a lot.
We all do.
Yes, but I would always ask them, give me the name of 2 or 3 people that you think could have a need or could have use for me. And basically, by the third puzzle, I had my internship.
So you hear no, but it's not the end, right?
No.
Don't ever let somebody say you can't.
Yes.
Right, and you have a choice.
Right.
You can decide. Yes, I think you're right. I can't do it, or you can say I can do it, and I'm going to persevere.
Right.
There are four qualities I think that you embody so strongly, and I talk about these as leadership absolutes and core values, but serving others is so important. Obviously, you embody that to the greatest extent possible. You today, and we'll talk about that, how you want to serve other people. It's not about you, it's about everybody else, and that is so admirable. Positive attitude. You wake up every morning knowing that you have things to accomplish today. And based on what you've experienced, that is incredible. Perseverance and faith, the other two, when we'll talk a little bit about your faith, that's what really gets you through each step of this process that you've experienced and through each day.
Now, the interesting thing is, you made the comment, you wake up every morning with purpose. I don't wake up every morning with purpose. Matter of fact, I don't remember yesterday. I remember this morning.
So let's talk about that just quickly. So you said you don't remember yesterday or perhaps maybe even 2 hours ago. Help us understand, because not everybody knows some of the effects of a traumatic brain injury.
Right. And memory is a fairly significant effect. I spent a ton of time trying to understand where my memory failed. So, for example, is it long-term memory or is it short-term? So, long-term memory, I don't remember my kid's birth. That's long-term memory. My kids are 14 to 18, so 10 to 14. I don't remember their birth. I barely remember some of the hospitals, barely, but very small. So that's longer term. I don't remember those well at all. I completely
they're very foggy. So
very foggy.
So
short term.
Mm-hmm.
So short term, let's say, do you remember what you had for dinner last night?
I do.
Okay, so now, when I ask you, do you remember? Do you get a picture in your head, a mental image?
I visualize it.
You
yes.
visualize it. So that is your visual memory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most people I found in studying my own deficiencies, most people subconsciously look at their food and take a mental image, mental picture.
So we're taking a picture of,
subconsciously.
Right.
They don't
It's
consciously.
not like we stare at our plate and say, I am going to remember this salad. Yeah.
You just remember.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't subconsciously remember anything visual.
You don't.
I don't remember anything. It's nothing. I don't capture it. I can't recall it. Nothing. So that's an example of short-term memory. So there's short-term and long-term, and I suffer in both. I have gaps. I think my short-term is by far worse. My long-term is just gaps.
I think the best way for people to really understand better what you're describing, and when we were talking earlier, you said you don't watch movies anymore.
Right.
And why don't you watch movies anymore?
Okay, so to watch a movie, usually it takes about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. About 2 hours.
And when you watch a movie, you have to stay up. You have to remember the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So for about 2 hours, you need to remember and follow the storyline.
So you can follow the characters.
Yeah, so you can follow the plot.
The plot, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't remember it. I don't remember anything more than maybe at most half hour.
A half an hour.
So that means I completely lose the storyline. So I can't watch movies, but I can watch sports. Sports have a much shorter period. I don't have to remember the entire game. All I need to do is remember how long it took for them to run a series of football plays. Right? So if it takes 10 minutes to run plays, I'm fine.
Right.
I can do that.
I think that gives everybody a better understanding of not just the physical injuries that you experienced that included an open skull fracture, facial bones that were shattered, broken ribs, separated shoulder, broken collarbone, broken vertebrae. I mean, a lot of physical trauma in addition to
the brain
traumatic brain injury. And the short-term memory loss, the long-term memory loss, and the fact that you can't watch a movie, I think that helps everybody understand a little bit better what this has meant to you and what are some of the recovery process that you've gone through.
Right.
It says so much about your perseverance. So how do you, every morning when you wake up, you say you try to find that purpose. How do you go about doing that?
But because I write everything, or type everything down, I go back and I read what I've typed. And usually if I read some of it, I go, okay, now I got it. I got it now. And so, for example, like right now, my sole focus, my whole purpose is to help a young mother who's probably 45. Her son, she has 5 children. Her son is experiencing TBI. He also experienced that PTSD from a young age.
So let's quickly describe PTSD. So this young person, how old?
He's probably 13 now.
13. Okay, so young man has suffered a traumatic brain injury, but prior to that has PTSD.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit, because not everybody knows what that is as well. So,
post-traumatic stress disorder.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
And here's the thing. Right now, it's commonly associated with warriors, with the military.
With the military, yes.
That anything can cause PTSD.
Any
traumatic event can cause PTSD. Right. So let me give you an example. So I suffer with being tired, or I suffer with sleep. I deal with sleep issues. Now, so do people with PTSD, but they come from 2 different angles. Me, I'm constantly fatigued. I'm literally by 11 a.m. I'm tired. Now, people with PTSD have issues with sleep too, but it's completely different. My issues are that I am constantly tired. Their issues are they can't sleep. They're dealing with basically the trauma of remembering all the bad things that happen, and they can't sleep. It's psychological fear.
Right.
You can't sleep.
Okay.
They're afraid of it happening again.
They don't want you.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah. They don't want to dream because they're afraid they're going to dream of have bad dreams. Mm-hmm. They don't want to sleep. So if I think about PTSD and TBI, they both have problems with sleep, just coming from a completely different perspective, completely different type of problem. But so I get a chance to right now. I get a chance to work with her. And, here's the thing: regardless of the nature of the sleep issue, the number one thing, and this is critical, it's what I've learned. Adaptation is key. We all have to adapt. Mm-hmm. If you look at all my injuries, we're all going to have those injuries at some point in our lives. We will. And we will all have to adapt. I just have to adapt at a younger age. Pretty fast. Fairly traumatic. But I still have to adapt. Everybody still has to adapt. Mm-hmm. It doesn't change anything.
Well, and it's how you adapt that I think makes the big difference. Yeah. And what you've gone through, and it's been now 6 years since your injury, and it's been quite a process. And you've documented everything along the way, and really laid out of sort of the expectations that somebody could experience if they have a traumatic brain injury. And through what you've documented, you've said in the first 6 months, it's all medical.
For me, it's all medical.
Because you're trying to get through, you're trying to live.
You're trying to stay alive, you're trying to keep other people alive. Because you gotta remember, one of the issues people with TBI and PTSD have is self-harm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, people with TBI, like myself, we don't have those issues. Studies show we rarely have those psychological emotional issues. PTSD does.
Okay.
Okay. Your focus on that very first phase, stay alive, stay safe. That's everybody's focus.
And that's typically in the six months or so for you.
For me,
6 months.
From my experience, it's probably in the first 6 months.
And you were in a coma for over a month. 5 weeks. 5 weeks. So once you sort of get through that stage, if you will, then it's the cognitive. And describe what you mean by that.
Well, okay, so I did take an IQ test after the accident. And I was completely normal. Fine.
So your IQ test
IQ is fine.
Said that your IQ test was normal. The outcome was normal. No change
no big deal.
After the accident to before the accident.
Or not perceived change.
Mm-hmm, okay.
Because I didn't really take a lot of IQ tests before the accident. So, but it was all normal.
For all intents and purposes.
Yeah, it was all normal.
Okay.
Now, so with brain injury, with TBI, the only way you can really measure it and the impact on your cognition is with neuropsychological tests.
So the neuropsychological test showed
significant losses like in memory.
Okay.
And it's huge now. So I did that probably for 2 years. I treated it like my job. I got up every morning. I had like clockwork. I had like a schedule. For 2 or 3 hours, I would do my neuropsych test over and over. And then, because I am analytical in nature.
Mm-hmm. Well, the accounting and finance background.
Right. I would look at trends. Am I getting better? Worse? Holding still. And I typically found I get a little better, and then I plateau off. So I did that for 2 years. Then it was really focused on psychological. So I went.
So as we get through the cognitive, we get to the third phase.
Yes.
And that is the psychological.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is okay. So you're alive. The people around you are not afraid of you; they're alive too. You now understand what you lost. Big deal. You now understand what you had before and what you lost now. The third area is psychological. It's how do you feel about it? I mean, this is the reality. You know what you've lost.
And it's a matter of accepting that.
Yeah, and so now, what are you? This is your reality, and you're right, accepting it. It's a huge thing, and there are things you can do to deal with the psychological side. Mm-hmm. They're very simple things. All these are very simple. They're not real hard.
Well, describe a few, if you will.
Well, like for example, on the psychological side.
Mm-hmm.
For psychological, I got an ESA, emotional support animal.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful. Animals are phenomenal for psychology.
That's wonderful.
Phenomenal. So, ESA, baby.
So do you have your support? Well, describe your support animal.
I actually have 2 now.
2?
Yeah.
2, wonderful.
They're both Labradoodles.
Labradors?
Labradoodles.
Oh, Labradoodles.
Yes.
Labradoodles.
And the reason why is they're black Labradoodles.
Black Labradoodles. What are the names?
Sophie and Maggie. No, Sophie and Molly. Sorry.
Sophie and Molly.
And the reason is because Labradoodles are hypoallergenic.
Ah, okay.
So
makes sense.
So I don't deal with allergies, and we do have allergies in the family. So that's good. Plus, we have a cat who is also a hypoallergenic.
Okay.
So we love animals.
Yeah. But to you, they're more than pets.
Yes, they're absolutely emotional support. They. Here's the thing, and this was so interesting. The way that you treat an animal and the way that they respond to you, I think, is very similar to the way that you would treat somebody else, person, and the way they would respond to you.
That is so meaningful. Can you say that again? Because I do think that's so important.
And this is why I think it helps with the psychological side, and it helps lead to social, but the way that you treat an animal, a dog, and the way they respond to you is very similar in my mind as the way that you treat a person and the way they respond to you. So, for example, if you're constantly yelling at a dog and they respond and they're constantly afraid of you, same thing with a person. If you're constantly yelling at a person, they're going to constantly be afraid of you. They're going to keep their distance from you. It's obvious.
That makes perfect sense.
So I think for me, that phase psychologically, yes, is a big part of it. I think there are amazing. This whole concept of there are a few things, but this whole concept of positive psychology is typically seen athletics. Okay, envision that you're hitting a home run, right? Okay, well, be positive. Envision about having a positive life, having a positive day. And envision, and here's the thing, I fail every day. And that's the whole thing. I fail every day. And I'm okay failing.
We all fail. And you have to be okay with it.
Yeah, and you fail. But here's the biggest thing. I think you're not a failure.
We all fail, but none of us are failures.
That's right.
Couldn't agree more, Andrew. I couldn't agree more.
Critical. Absolutely critical.
And you have to understand that and accept it. Because we're not going to be perfect. We all are going to fail. over and over, but we are not failures.
That's right. Now, one of the challenges of people with TBI is they don't know psychologically. A lot of TBI patients survivors try to go back to work.
And I'm sure you thought early on that you would be able to go back to work.
Yes, I did. I hope I would. But let me see this. The problem with that is this. If they haven't gone through the cognitive part of the phase, if they've got through medical, they have gone to cognitive, and they try to go back to work, all of a sudden they're going to say, I can't do, I'm going to fail at everything I do. I'm not the same person. This is not fair. And they get very, very upset. That's why you have to do the cognitive part before you think about trying to do the psychological. Understand, again, you will fail every day. You're not a failure, but you will fail every day. So that's our psychological piece. Mm-hmm. And that takes some time to get through that. It takes a lot of time to get through the cognitive part. Psychological part, I think that really depends on the person.
For you, you've documented that it's about 3 years from the time of injury. And then the fourth phase is the social. So 3 years post, you're started to work on the social. Now you're 6 years, so tell us a little bit about the social.
Well, okay, so believe it or not, social is, I will say this. My first introduction to the social side was through my network group with Texas A&M University.
With Texas A&M,
yeah,
okay.
I went as part of a networking group. Mm-hmm. I was not worried about networking for business. It was all social. It was all social. It was all dealing with that. So, for example, it was realizing I don't read bib well. I don't read expressions. I don't. It's constantly going back. Now, also, as part of that is this. Through that group, I got a chance to give speeches.
Okay, so you've been able to,
and that's part social as well.
Get out and see people, give speeches,
understand. This is a big piece. Understand what you love and don't love.
So say that again.
Understand what you love and don't love, because that's huge. So, for example, speaking. I really did like speaking a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, what I found in time, and
I think you're very good at it, by the way. You really are.
Yeah, I love being able to sit down and connect with people one-to-one. So, for example, this young lady I'm working with, I can actually share with her my experience with brain injury and help her as she deals with it as well. Help her relate to people that have brain her son. Very important. So to me, the personal connection, I absolutely love it. I do. I love it.
And that hasn't changed from before your injury.
No.
You've always been relationship oriented. You've always wanted to nurture relationships. It's never been about a short-term gain for you.
Right. Now, this as well. And this is the challenge. So, if you look at my TBI, my brain injury, the deficiencies are typically in 3 areas. One is physical. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have a ton of physical. The second is cognitive.
Cognitive.
I've measured those. I got a ton of those. I know what those are. The last is emotional and psychological.
Emotional and psychological.
So now, the challenge of it is this. For me, that really wasn't impacted as much. So let me give you an example. People that have a TBI tend to lash out. They tend to get angry and upset easily. They're frustrated. Especially those that try to go back to work too soon and they realize, I can't do this at all. And they get very frustrated and mad.
So they have not accepted.
They have not accepted it on them. I'm psychological. So for me, the social part was understanding my abilities and being able to find out where I actually really could have an impact.
Finding that purpose.
So what I would say is this. Let me go back to this. I think, and I'm very fortunate, I think before an accident like this, your personality will have characteristics. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love people. Now,
you can tell, by the way. You can tell that you love people.
Now, when you go through this accident, it's either going to heighten or diminish how you respond. So either you really love people or you won't like people at all.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm very fortunate. I really love people. I really love people now. Completely makes it easy. For example,
so much easier for you?
So much easier. So much easier. Socially, I genuinely like people. Right?
And again, you can tell you're just a very engaging individual.
So it is. So that's some of what I've experienced. Now, my journey is first things first. With brain injury, every journey is different.
Well, everybody's different. So,
but
while you've documented the phases that you've gone through, and you would say that anybody with TBI would experience.
Yeah,
there's still going to be differences because people are different.
It's huge differences now, and so is the timeline.
Of course,
like this young man then, he's still in the very first phase, 2 years.
Okay, so that's
a huge difference.
Do you think age has something to do with it because he's 13?
I think age does, but believe it or not, age and also physical fitness, physical health. So, for example, technically because of age and because he's in football, he should be better off. Matter of fact, the older people are and the worse health they're in, the more difficult it will be for them.
Well, that does make sense that would be the case.
That is
just another reason why we need to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, but it's huge.
So there are 3 characteristics or qualities that you said that really you need to have throughout all phases. And those include relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about that and how important that is to you. And it was before, and it is now. The other is faith.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that in a second, because the third is positive attitude. And we've talked about having a positive attitude. And you certainly have a positive attitude every day. I mean, even if I didn't know you and I saw you on the street, you can tell that you're just a very positive person just by your demeanor. And I think that comes through. It's so important for you to keep that.
So I want to be honest, I'm not positive every day. I have bad days.
That's understandable.
Bad days.
Understandable.
I do have to force myself to be positive. I do.
But you're successful with it.
But it isn't that. I do have to force myself.
I think it's your second element that you documented, faith.
Yes.
That helps you with that positive attitude. So tell us about the faith component of your life.
I think if you experience what I did, I think your faith is either going to become stronger or weaker. And
you'll either question
more or you'll become stronger.
Believe more. Okay.
And good. And the reason is this. There's only a few ways you can think about this. You'll question more because what have I done to deserve this?
What have I done to deserve
What
that? That's
have I
interesting.
possibly done to deserve this? Now, the flip side is this. For me, I'm alive. I'm alive.
You're alive.
I don't need. I have actually lived a near-death experience, and so I've actually experienced faith. It's not just an emotion, not just something I want to believe in. It's tangible. I'm alive.
You're alive. You feel it's tangible. It's real.
Yeah.
It's what gets you up in the morning through the day and
It
helps you through the night, your whole life.
Yeah. What I say is faith has become a lifeline for me. It has. So if people say, well, what do you mean? And what I say is this. Some people will pray, some people have said prayers, some people don't. I merely have a conversation. I have a conversation with, for me, God. I just have a conversation. I don't remember anything.
I think that's what God wants us all to do.
I just
have conversations with Him. Yeah.
And so my faith, and I do this often, I know I do. If I've had a bad day or if I'm laying in bed and saying, this has been bad, I just have a conversation. And that's what it is.
That's wonderful.
So I do that, and then also this. Because of the memory issues, if I do have a bad day, I pretty much know I'm going to go to bed, and I'll remember it tomorrow. It'll be just fine.
That's interesting. So if you have a bad day,
go take a nap. It'll be fine.
You take a nap and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that, Andrew.
Because my test is this. Okay. If I can't remember something and I'm having a bad day, I look around. Am I in jail? No. Okay. So you're good. Are you in the hospital? No. Okay. You're sick. Done. Stop working.
It's amazing. An amazing and inspirational attitude. I want to read something that you wrote.
Yeah.
That I think everybody should hear. It's so profound, so important. And this is you.
Yeah.
There are ways you can have a future, but you have to go through the heartache to find it. That fuels your search. Only you can find it, but it is always there. You just need to find your inspiration. The search for inspiration from within, when faced with adversity, is something unique I think all TBI and PTSD survivors have. They just need to follow their heart. The act of finding your inspiration from within provides you the drive to create a future. This is a way people with TBI and PTSD survivors can do more than beat the odds. Believe you will find a future. Believe you can have a positive impact on others. Be loving, just, true, good, gracious, merciful, and compassionate. Man, Andrew, I mean, that is so profound. So profound.
But I say this, with TBI and PTSD survivors, this is the challenge. Especially if you've lost as much as I did. You will question whether you have a future. You will. It's guaranteed you will. But, again, you are unique. You have a unique experience, and if you get through this adversity, because you're going to get through it, if you can get through that, you will have a place for people. You will have value that others will see, and that's okay. And that
is so good. Inspirational. You just have to persevere. You will have a place. You're unique. You'll be able to positively impact others. That is incredible, Andrew. That is an incredible message that everybody needs to hear. What is the future for Andrew Treutle now? What do you want to do? Because you have so much, I believe you have so much potential to positively impact the masses. I mean, certainly those that have experienced TBI or PTSD, but others as well. I mean, we all find your message so important and so inspirational. What do you want to do in the future?
Well, I think it's something I'm just now getting a chance to do 6 years after, and that is that there are caregivers, mothers, fathers, it could be employees. There are caregivers of people that have TBI or PTSD, and they don't know, where shall I start? There's so much information on the brain, it's so complex, and the injuries can be so significant they don't know where to start. Sometimes
they're just overwhelmed by all the information and they don't even know where to begin.
They don't know where to begin. All I can do is I can share with them my story, what I know I experienced in my journey.
Just like with this young single mother in Illinois.
And help them navigate through this very, very difficult, messy situation. It's not easy. It's just not. To me, I think that's what I could do the most. And honestly, having that personal relationship is what gives me extreme satisfaction. So,
you will be able to do that. I truly believe that you will positively impact tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in your lifetime, more than you already have. But I can't wait to see what you're going to do. And I just am so grateful that you decided to take time to talk with us this morning. And it's been a privilege to have you. If people want to get in touch with you and learn more about what you've experienced and get in touch and learn how you can talk to their groups, you want them to just contact me.
Yep.
So the way you would do that is just reach out to Jeff Newkirk at Understandable Solutions. My email is jeff@understandablesolutions.com, or you can go to understandablesolutions.com, my website. Let me know that you want to get in touch with Andrew Treutle, and we will make that happen. I will serve as your conduit.
Perfect.
So, friends, thank you so much for listening today. I'm always grateful that you took the time. I hope today was a great day for you, and I hope tomorrow will be even better. And before we close out, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things this December. And listening to Andrew Treutle this morning, I think this is more important than ever to take stock in all the things that we have to be thankful for. So number 1, I want you to do is to be thankful. Be thankful for your friends. Be thankful for your family, your acquaintances, your job, your home, all the things that you have. Be thankful. Number 2, reach out. Reach out to an old friend or to someone you want to connect with but haven't yet, and just wish them well. You'll be surprised at how much of an impact that will make. Number 3, be prepared for an awesome 2021. And what I mean by that is, don't just expect next year to be a great year. Make it happen. It's going to be up to you to make it happen. So prepare yourself for an awesome 2021. Again, thanks for listening. Certainly appreciate you taking the time. Andrew, it's been great having you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Everybody have a great day. And again, make tomorrow even better. Peace.
You've been listening to The Forensic Financialist, where we simplify business and leadership challenges and choose the road that leads to wisdom and excellence. To learn more about Jeff, visit his website at understandablesolutions.com or email Jeff at jeff@understandablesolutions.com. Mentioning this podcast will get you a complimentary discovery session with Jeff. Until next time.